Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the First Universalist Church of Yarmouth. My name is Joanna Landsman. I'm on the board, the Worship Council, and a couple of other things. And I'm so happy to be greeting you today. A warm welcome to our friends gathered here in our sanctuary, as well as our friends joining us on Zoom. Virtually, you all expand our sanctuary far beyond these walls. At First Universalist, our mission is to explore our faith, embrace this community, and to engage the world as spiritual seekers. May we take these words to heart. If this is your first time here at First Universalist, welcome. We invite you to fill out a connection card, which is located in the pew in front of you, so we may connect you with events and programs that interest you. You can drop this in the offering plate on your when it's passed out later in the service. We would love to send you our weekly e-newsletter called Channels. Following our service this morning, you are all invited to join us for coffee hour, our time of friendship and fellowship downstairs in our gathering room right below us. Before our service begins, I have 3 announcements today. Since we last gathered in the spring, the COVID risk in our county has greatly declined. Hooray, yahoo! And given this change, our COVID safety team has revised our church policy. As you know, masks are now optional, but they are always welcome. It's all completely up to your comfort level. We will once again be singing together this morning. Our capacity numbers have increased in our church spaces, and food and drink will now be served during coffee hour. Should the COVID numbers rise again in Cumberland County, our safety team will amend these policies to mitigate COVID risk here in our church. Secondly, for the month of September, our month of belonging, we invite all members of our congregation to join a small group. Small groups are gatherings of 6 to 8 people who commit to meeting once or twice a month together for about 90 minutes. During these gatherings, small group members check in with one another and explore and engage their spiritual beliefs, questions, and practices. Small groups are a very special and very important part of belonging in our community, and I can testify to that. Reverend Hillary sent out an online small group sign-up form last week, but in case you missed it, you will also find a sign-up form in your order of worship this morning. If you want to sign up for a small group, and we hope you do, you can complete this form and drop it in the offering plate later in our service, or hand it to an usher or to Reverend Hillary on your way out of the sanctuary. Reverend Hillary will compile the responses next week and then be in touch with you about your small group possibilities by the end of the month. And lastly, the garden, or the Wabanaki garden tour that is scheduled for next Saturday, the 24th, has unfortunately needed to be rescheduled due to a death in that community. However, it is being rescheduled for the following Saturday, which is October 1st, at the same time and same place. So hopefully those of you who signed up can still join. Those are our announcements this morning. I now invite you to take a deep breath with me as we settle into this time together. Our music director, Sam Chandler, will now lead us into our worship.
Good morning. How are you? I'm just going to close this door. One second. It's good to see you. I'm okay, you know. It's good to be with you all. My name is Hillary. I serve as the minister here, and it is with peace and friendship that I say, whoever you are, wherever you are from, whomever you love, whatever it is you have done or have not done, you're welcome here. And I'm so glad you're here. Friends, today we offer a service on belonging, which is our congregational theme for this very suddenly crisp month of September. Belonging. The experience of having our longings to be met. And in the midst of this month of belonging now, I invite you to think with me for a moment of your experience of belonging throughout your life. Where are the places where you can just authentically be? Who are the people or beings with whom you can just be? Perhaps you're overwhelmed right now with gratitude for the myriad spaces where you feel that you can just be without feeling insecure or second-guessing yourself or trying to read the room or fit in. Perhaps very few places of belonging came to mind. That's okay. Given our life experiences, our identities, beliefs, needs, it can be really hard to authentically be sometimes. Perhaps you just felt this space, this group, this community here now as your place of belonging. If so, cool. I think that's what we're going for here. Creating spaces of belonging is kind of why places like First U exist. No simple feat, but joyous work. Creating and sustaining spaces of belonging begins often by offering one another small kindnesses. Offering small kindnesses to folks we know and don't know, those from here and my Mainer friends, those from away. Such small kindnesses, more often than not, are actually huge. And as the author of our opening words writes, such small kindnesses often are holy. And our opening words this morning are a poem by the Californian poet laureate Danusha Lamaris, entitled Small Kindnesses. Small kindnesses. I've been thinking about the way when you walk down a crowded aisle, people pull in their legs to let you by. Or how strangers still say, "Bless you," when someone sneezes, a leftover from the bubonic plague. Don't die, we are saying. And sometimes when you spill lemons from your grocery bag, someone else will help you pick them up. Mostly, we don't want to harm each other. We want to be handed our cup of coffee hot and to say thank you to the person handing it to us. To smile at them and for them to smile back. For the waitress to call us honey when she sets down the bowl of clam chowder. For the driver in the red pickup truck to let us pass. We have so little of each other now, so far from tribe and fire, only these brief moments of exchange. What if they are the true dwelling of the holy these fleeting temples we make together when we say, "Here, have my seat. Go ahead, you first. And I like your hat." Good morning, my friends, and welcome. It is good to be together, creating and sustaining this space of belonging. And now, with small kindness in mind, let's all take a moment to turn to those around us and wish them a good morning. Share a brief moment of holy exchange. So many holy exchanges. I invite you all now to rise in body and spirit as you are able, and join me in singing our opening hymn, number 188, "Come, Come, Whoever You Are." And following this song, please remain standing as you are able for our unison affirmation and doxology. Sam, are we doing this in a round today, or are we just singing it?
I have to give some instructions.
Okay.
So we're going to split this song into a round with two parts. So part one comes in at the beginning, and that's going to be piano side. Part three comes in at the number 3, but you come in with the first words, right? So that's how we make it a round. So at 3, come in with the melody, this side. Joanna will help. And then finally, this part will be getting on their second half of their second time through, and this part will join them at that point, because you'll have just finished your second time. Easy peasy. Sorry? Start on this side.
Standing as you are able, and join me in reciting our unison affirmation, which is printed in your order of service. We are united in seeking to increase love with justice and to constitute a free church open to all people and mindful of our past and drawing upon modern knowledge. We respond to the spiritual needs of persons and are devoted to the common good in community, nation, and world. We cherish the integrity of each individual and search for truth with reason as our guide. We respect differences of opinion and strive to be a democratic community. We are concerned with this world and open to the future. And now is the time where we light our chalice, which is the symbol of Unitarian Universalism throughout the world. Won't you join me in our chalice lighting words? If I can light the match. Go. We light our chalice in peace and friendship. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Hillary.
Good morning, Joanna.
So, Hillary, you know how our theme this month of September is belonging, yeah?
Yes, I know this very well.
Well, I wanted to share with you one of the ways that we get to know each other in youth groups and to start to feel like we belong.
Cool. Okay, tell me.
All right, it's a game called Two Truths and a Lie.
Oh, yeah. I know that game. Does anyone else know that game? Two truths and a lie? A few people. Yeah. Okay, I'm in, I think. Let's play. But you know what? It'd be more fun if we invited someone else to play with us.
Oh, me. I would like to play.
Yes. Great. Come on up and play with us. I don't think we've met before. What's your name?
Is this a part of the game? Should I lie?
No, we're not playing yet.
It's not that game. It's not time for that game yet.
Okay. My name is Diablo, and this is my very first time here at First Universalist Church.
Well, it's very nice to meet you, Diablo. Welcome. Can we give Diablo a warm welcome, folks?
Hi, Diablo.
I should have noticed you have yeah, you've got a name tag.
I do. I have a name tag. Oh, I also filled out a connection card. Oh, Mac, could you? Yes.
Okay. Perfect. I'll give this to Gwen.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, well, I know we have a game to play, but Diablo, I'd love to know more about you. How did you find First Universalist?
Well, I moved here recently from California. I was looking for community and some place where I could belong. And I was looking for support on my search for truth and meaning.
Oh, interesting. We love searching for truth and meaning here. We love it.
Well, I thought to myself, man, Diablo, it should also be somewhere that believed in the inherent worth of all people. So when I saw your rainbow flag outside and your Black Lives Matter banner, I just was pretty sure that I liked the vibe here. I feel like we're on the same frequency.
You sound like you're really from California, Diablo. We're vibing. Yeah. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, all right, let's get this game started. So, you're each going to take turns saying two true things about yourselves and then one lie. And I'll play too. And then everyone here will get to guess which is the lie and which things are true. Hillary, Diablo, are you ready to play?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude.
Okay. Now, Hillary, how about you go first?
Oh, geez. Okay. So, in high school, I was on the all-state lacrosse team. I have no tattoos and no piercings whatsoever. And in college, I was attacked by a raccoon and had to be treated for rabies.
So, which are the truths and which are the lies? Let's vote. Raise your hand if you think the state all-star lacrosse team was the lie. Whoa. Okay, if you think having no tattoos and no piercings was the lie.
Some of you are voting twice.
And now finally, if you think the rabid raccoon attack was the lie. So Hillary?
Interesting. Guys, I was a Maine all-state lacrosse player. I'm not fooling around. And I have no tattoos and no piercings. I don't like to pay for pain. That's not my game. And I have never been attacked by a raccoon or treated for rabies.
Wow, I'm really glad you've never had rabies. Okay, I'll do it this time.
Okay. It was two truths.
Yeah. It's kind of a double negative there.
Yeah, it was a double off.
I mean, everyone voted that I was lying about all of them, so I don't know.
Okay, my turn. My two truths and a lie are, 1, I have traveled to Transylvania 2 times. 2, I have run more than 30,000 miles in my life. Well, so far. Wow. And 3, I have a pet snake.
Okay, I don't know how to vote. Let's try to just vote one time on this one. Okay? Raise your hand if you think that 2 trips to Transylvania is a lie. Kids are doubting that one. Children doubt that one. What about if you think Joanna has run 30,000 miles in her life? Do you think she's lying about that? Okay. Okay, do we think Joanna has a pet snake? No.
Well, guess what? You're right. Been to Transylvania. I've run 30,000 at least. And I love all animals, but I do not have a pet snake. That's the lie.
Maybe one day we can go to Transylvania together, Joanna. Okay, Diablo, our new friend. Your turn.
All right, I think I've got this. Here are my 3 things. 1, my middle name is Bueno. 2, I spend a lot of time styling my hair in the morning. And 3, this is my first time at a UU service.
Okay, let's vote. Raise your hand if you think that Diablo's middle name is Bueno, if his middle name of Bueno is the lie. Okay. If you think that he spends a lot of time styling his hair was the lie. And now if you think that this is Diablo's first time at a UU service was the lie.
Okay, it's true that my middle name is Bueno, Diablo Bueno, and it's true that I've never been to a UU church before. The lie is that I spend a lot of time on my hair, which I guess you guys understood. This is all natural.
Diablo, I gotta say, I love it. You're gonna have to give me some tips.
Thank you.
Oh, what a fun way to get to know one another. It was so great to meet you today, Diablo. I hope we see you again soon.
Well, I do like it here so far.
Wonderful.
I'm so glad to hear that. But now we've come to the time in our service where we say our children's blessing together.
What's that?
Oh, sorry, Diablo. Let me explain. Our children's blessings are some words and gestures that we say each Sunday. They help us remind us who we are as Unitarian Universalists. So let's say it together with everyone right now. We are Unitarian Universalists, people of open minds, loving hearts,
and helping hands. Neat! Now, what's next? Do I just hang out up here for the rest of the service, or... Oh, okay.
Sam will play our song.
Bye, guys!
Go now in peace. And all children are invited to follow Mac and Diablo to Children's Chapel and Youth Group. Oops.
Going down this way. Hello, hello. Hi. You know what I could bring him?
Sorrows and requests for strength.
In honor of our second principle, justice, equity, and compassion in our relationships, this month's half-plate offering is given to the Minister's Discretionary Fund. Given the rising costs of food, fuel, housing, and medical care, people in our community are struggling to make ends meet. Our Minister's Discretionary Fund provides confidential assistance to those facing such financial burdens in our congregation. If you are in need of financial assistance, please do not hesitate to contact Reverend Hillary, who can support you in confidence through our discretionary fund. If you're able to give today to support the Minister's Discretionary Fund, please know that your offering is important and greatly appreciated. For those in the sanctuary this morning, we will be passing the offering plate to one another. For those gathered online, you're invited to make your offering using the donate button in the order of worship. You may also make your offering by dropping a check in the mail. Thank you for your generosity.
Won't you join me in singing our song of thanksgiving, my friends, written in your order of worship? Our reading today is from the much beloved Irish poet David Whyte. I think from his newest book of poetry called Still Possible, that I by chance stumbled upon in the library the other day. And this poem is entitled My Courageous Life. My courageous life has gone ahead and is looking back, calling me on. My courageous life has seen everything I have been and everything I have not, and has forgiven me day after day. My courageous life still wants my company, wants me to understand my life as witness and thus bequeath me the way ahead. My courageous life has the patience to keep teaching me how to invent my own disappearance and how, once gone, to reappear again. My courageous life wants to stop being ahead of me so that it can lie down and rest deep inside the body it has been calling on. My courageous life wants to be my foundation, showing me day after day, even against my will, how to undo myself, how to surpass myself, how to laugh as I go in the face of danger, how to invite the right kind of perilous love, how to find a way to die of generosity. So our theme for this month, once again, the first month of our new church year, is belonging. Pretty solid theme for kicking off our new year together, huh? Belonging. And before we just take this theme and run with it, I want to just slow down for a second. Like so many of the words we throw around in here, belonging is a big word. And like love and joy, justice and freedom, truth, God, the concept of belonging covers a lot of ground, a lot of varied experiences, expectations, needs, interpretations. And so I ask, what does it mean to belong? What have we achieved when we say, I am where I belong? And what are we seeking when we say, I am looking for a place where I belong? The word belonging, writes the theologian and poet John O'Donohue, holds together the two fundamental aspects of life, being and longing. Belonging, he says, is the longing of our being and the being of our longing. Or as I have come to think of it and feel it, the need to belong is very simply a longing to just be. But oh, what is it to be? You're okay if we kick off the year with a little existential crisis, right? In this interesting project of a book, The Atlas of the Heart, The well-known sociologist Brené Brown takes up the task of chronicling the emotional experiences of being human, with chapter titles such as Places We Go When We Are Hurting, Places We Go When Life Is Good, Places We Go When We Compare, and Places We Go When Things Don't Go as Planned. Brown and her colleagues identify collections of emotions and experiences that commonly arise in each of these scenarios. The book gives language, and Brené Brown, being Brené Brown, also gives some advice on how to feel and move with and through all of our states of mind and heart. And I admit, I actually haven't spent much time with Atlas of the Heart yet. But knowing its premise, I was curious if the experience of belonging was given a nod in the book. And sure enough, in a chapter titled The Places We Go When We Search for Connection, along with insecurity and visibility, loneliness, and fitting in, was a section on belonging. And isn't it interesting that belonging and fitting in were two separate sections? True belonging, Brené Brown writes, is the spiritual practice of believing in and belonging to yourself so deeply that you can share your most authentic self with the world and find sacredness in both being a part of something and standing alone in the wilderness. She continues, true belonging does not require you to change who you are. True belonging requires you to be who you are. Belonging, longing to be. At the start of this month of belonging, I attended a week-long retreat at a place called Knoll Farm, a bucolic Icelandic sheep farm and community center at the top of a steep hill in the middle of Vermont. A pretty nice spot to belong. The retreat was titled Facilitating for Change, and it was both a contemplative experience for attendees to consider our strengths and edges and strategies as facilitators and organizers and teachers. And it was also an intensive workshop to strengthen our skills for building community and creating transformative belonging within diverse groups of people. And we, the 16 attendees, were quite a diverse group of people. We ranged from a couple of beekeepers trying to create a beekeeping community for LGBTQ folks. There was the executive director of a farm staffed by neurodivergent people. There was a comprehensive sex educator working within Mormon communities in Utah. Yeah. And there was a young woman trying to figure out what to do with an enormous and valuable property she was about to inherit from her family, to name only a few. We were an intergenerational group with folks ranging from 20-something to 70-something. We were a multiracial group, an interfaith group, a mixed gender and sexuality group, a politically diverse group, and a class diverse group. And this diversity was important, not just because diversity is important, but because the entire framework of the retreat rested upon the belief that we must shift our understanding of building community away from the idea that we build community by finding common ground with others, to the idea that we build community by way of learning, naming, knowing, and welcoming our differences. As the retreat leader, Peter Forbes, explained right off the bat, the most important work we can do as facilitators in this age is to broaden our socially narrow understandings of community. Broaden our socially narrow understandings of community. And we spent most of the week together doing this hard, awkward, sometimes hilarious, sometimes eggshell walking work with each other, learning not just how to express our own differing viewpoints, lifestyles, and experiences, but learning how to ask questions and listen to other people's differing experiences, opinions, and identities. We got in arguments, we misspoke, we misunderstood, we taught and learned, apologized, forgave, and eventually celebrated and came together over the rare experience of being able to inhabit our full, authentic selves with each other. And my friends, I must say, as a pretty stoic, shy, change-averse, multi-generation Mainer, I was astounded by how quickly I let my guard down when given the chance to share who I was and how I was different from other people. And I was astounded by the deep sense of belonging I felt in a matter of days with these folks that I didn't know in a place that I had never been before. By being in a community where our differences were valued and known and talked about openly, we didn't all have to constantly try to relate to each other, we didn't have to dance around each other, and we didn't have to try to find that common ground. Because it turns out that sometimes seeking common ground just means trying to fit in, or expecting or requesting that others find a way to fit in. At Knoll Farm a couple weeks ago, the common ground we found was based not on shared identities and lifestyles and political affiliations, but rather on the nourishing and enlivening values of curiosity, learning, and change. And no, it was not easy, and it was not always fun. The work was constant. We were together nonstop for a week. We had a lot of check-ins, a lot of follow-up. We sat down at a long table and ate every meal together. And perhaps most importantly, every night for 2 hours, we sat around a fire and just told stories from our lives. And my friends, the power of storytelling, whoa, unmatched. The power of storytelling to create and sustain belonging, unmatched. We also made a covenant together, an agreement on how we wanted to be with each other. And we wrote this covenant not right at the start of the retreat, but about 36 hours in, after we'd known each other and experienced a little bit of our diverse dynamics at play. And I was struck by the covenant we made as it did not feel at all restrictive or controlling. It was actually kind of freeing. We make this agreement, Peter, the leader, facilitator, said as we began our process, we make this agreement not to prescribe rules to one another, but to elevate our conversations and relationships. We then collectively wrote these agreements. Approach each other with curiosity. Tell me if I caused you harm and call me into a conversation about it. Let humor in, and my favorite, let yourself speak in draft form. Yeah. Meaning, recognize we are in a process, working something out, drafting, editing. Don't wait to jump into the conversation until you feel you have a final draft to share, because we'll never hear from you. And you won't be a voice in this process, and we want your voice in this process. Speak in draft form. All of my sermons are in draft form, by the way, just FYI. And my friends, what agreements need be made in this space for you to feel like you can be your full self here, for you to be able to be. And just as importantly, what mindsets and heart spaces must we cultivate here in order to create, sustain, and change this space so that others, no matter their differences, can find belonging and authenticity here? Much of this work, much of this joy, rather, here at First U, of creating spaces of belonging and sustaining them, I think is done in our small groups. Sure, we can gather in this room on Sundays and from time to time throughout the month, and we can see each other and pray and sing and listen and share a meal or something together, but small groups, I think, are where the stories are told, where the check-ins happen, where we want to be our full selves and we want to know others as their full selves. Small groups are the spaces where those brief holy moments of exchange can be extended, fortified, repeated. Those of you currently in small groups, would you agree with that? Yeah? I really encourage you all to sign up for a small group this fall. There's nothing to lose. There's nothing to lose, only something to gain. We close the Facilitating for Change retreat with a powerful ritual called Lamale's Gift. Lamale was one of Peter Forbes' teachers, an indigenous woman with a gift for facilitating restorative justice and healing processes. And on our last morning together, our group of 16 people went outdoors and got in 2 concentric circles, with those on the inside seated on a chair and those on the outside circle standing behind. Those on the inside were silent. Those on the outside were asked to think of the words we longed to hear from others. What do you long for deep in your soul for someone to tell you? Peter asked. What do you long for deep in your soul for someone to tell you? After a couple minutes of reflection, the folks on the outside began to rotate around those seated in the inner circle. And as they passed each person, they leaned down and whispered those words in each person's ear. You did the right thing. In your time of pain, I won't leave you. I feel better when you're here. I want to be your friend. You have done so much. You can rest now. Come back. We really miss you. The circle turned and turned, and the ritual continued. Everybody was crying. And we realized this was our common ground. Our shared ground of our shared longing to be loved for being, and to express love for others with great vulnerability and authenticity. When the ritual ended, Peter shared that this was the way Lamale began all her conversations with groups of people who were angry at each other or were hurting each other. We cried even more, just cried. What words do you most need to hear, my beloved, longing to be? longing to belong, friends? What words would fill your full self up so you could just be who you are and feel good about that? What words is your courageous life whispering to you right now, beckoning you forward with? What truths about yourself must you express, and what lies must you release? What do you long for deep in your soul for someone to tell you? Yeah. Me too. Me too. Welcome. Welcome to this place of longing and being, of longing to be. This is our common ground. Let us walk and rest upon it, full of love for ourselves, full of love for our wild, unruly differences. Amen. Our closing hymn is one of my favorites, Wo Ya Ya, number 1020 in your teal hymnal. And you can rise. We do that now. You can rise. Join me in singing.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will.
Won't you all remain standing for our closing time of prayer and benediction? May all beings be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings experience profound joy and the causes of profound joy. May all beings be free to be and able to let others be. And friends, will you join me in the words of our unison benediction, writ in your order of worship? For those who come here seeking God, may God go with you. those who come embracing life, may life return your affection. For those who come to seek a path, may a way be found and the courage to take it step by step. Go in peace, my friends. Feel welcome to join us at coffee hour or gather outside if you like. Sign up for a small group if you feel like, just letting your courageous life lead you forward. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks, everybody.